guys, it's Emma, and I'm back today for you with another video. Today, we are doing another book review, and today's book is, as you can tell from the title above, Bunny by Mona Awad. We're just gonna ignore the fact that it's blurbed by, This book is about this girl named Samantha Heather Mackey, and she goes to this very elite, very Ivy League school called Warren University, and it's up in New England. And she prefers to keep to herself and her dark imagination, and she very much resents the rest of her class, which only contains 5 people, including herself. So the other 4 girls are part of this kind of really twee clique of girls called the Bunnies. And the reason they're called the Bunnies is because they call each other Bunny as like a term of endearment. They're very childlike and they act kind of like a hive mind. Basically, Samantha gets an invitation from the Bunnies to come to their smut salon. And she ditches her only friend Ava in the process by going to said smut salon. And then Samantha kind of dives into the Bunnies' really weird and twisted world, even taking part in their workshops where they have like ritualistic summonings where they conjure their monstrous ideas. And then Samantha's friendship with Ava and the Bunnies comes to just a clash. And it's all about Samantha and this cult-like group of women called the Bunnies. It's a new favorite of all time. I adore books about cults. I adore them so much. Like anything with a really twisted family dynamic, I eat that shit up. It gave me a Twisted Clueless meets Heathers vibe. I adore those 2 movies. Now, the thing about this book, before we actually start reviewing it and, like dissecting it bit by bit, I want to make this known that Bunny is a very trippy book. When I tell you this book is weird, it's weird, all right? Like Alice in Wonderland type trippy-ish, like it's kind of a thing where you just have to go with the flow, right? You just have to go with it. You can't think about what's happening or else you're just not gonna... This book is gonna freak you out, right, if you overthink it. Therefore, you guys in the comments, I wanna know what your favorite trippy book is. All right, like your favorite Alice in Wonderland type shit, right? Like your favorite trippy book that just stretched your mind to its most possible limits, right? Also, before we start, I will have the ambiance that I listened to down below while I read this book. So, with that being said, let's get right into it. We're gonna start with the writing, all right? The writing in this book, it threw me, okay? So the writing for Bunny is very pretentious, and normally I don't like pretentious writing, as sometimes for me it comes off as very obnoxious and therefore it gets very annoying for me to read. However, this just worked for some reason. Not to mention it's very raunchy writing. However, it's not inappropriate. You know what I mean? Like it dances on the line. Now, there are trigger warnings for this book that I want to get out of the way first. There are trigger warnings for the R slur, for animal death, and for drug use. So I just want to put that out there now, right? But it danced on the line between regular prose and purple prose. So kind of like I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. Its prose was almost flowery, but at the same time, not. It was like a garden instead of a meadow. Because this does involve a cult, and Samantha does divulge her way into said cult, the transitions between when we see the Bunnies being brainwashed and when they're not is very well done. The writing goes from 3rd person singular, such as she, her, him, his, he, to 1st person plural, we, right? And then back and forth. And the way that it's done is just so well done. I don't know how else to explain it. It's just the fluidity of it. It's not choppy. It's It's literally like passing through one mindset to another. It's amazing. Now, because Samantha is at a writing school, she suffers a big amount of writer's block throughout this book, right? And as she's more and more engrossed in the bunnies, we see them, as a typical cult-like behavior, suck the individuality out of her and therefore the creativity. This book is about writer's block and how awful it is. Like, we definitely see firsthand how writer's block can affect somebody whose life is so consumed by writing. Something else that I adored about the writing is the fact that it was so clever. The way that the clues and the resulting answers are given is so smart, right? Because like I said in my The Only Good Indians comparison video, The Only Good Indians was very smart because it showed you what happened. It didn't tell you. And that's kind of like how Bunny did it. You were given a clue, and then the author would pretty much ask, okay, so this happened. Have we seen this before? You know? Think about it. Where have you seen this before? So it gives you a very satisfactory feeling about being able to guess stuff, and it just makes it more eerie because you're not given anything directly. You know, you have to make your own inferences, and I love it. One thing that I've talked about in books that I love, and not just in books, just anything with a story. One thing that I love when consuming a story is parallels, and that could be parallels between differing timelines, parallels between the beginning of a story and then the end of a story. It doesn't matter. Just anything connecting, like parallels, connections. I adore that, all right? It's so cool. It ties your story together in a more complex way, and Bunny does that throughout the book. She's weaving a web. The author weaves a web throughout the story, connected by words, and you're just along for the ride. The twists in this book are awesome. Again, you're just along for the ride. And the twists are going to take you on some loop-de-loops. Now we're going to talk about the characters. Okay, the characters are awesome. We're going to talk about the main character first. The main character, Samantha Heather motherfucking Mackey, is awesome. First of all, she's 6 feet. She's 6 foot tall. We love tall women. Second of all, she's 25 in this book. And I really appreciate that because most of the books that I read, at least, you know, around my age, if they have a female main character, most of the time she'll be, you know, between the ages of 16 and 21. But because now we have, I hate saying this because I hate referring to 25 as old or older, but older in terms of all the characters or all the female characters that I've read. I like the fact that we've got a story about an older female main character, all right? It's just refreshing every now and then to see that, you know, older people can have a story about them too, you know? The bunnies are some of the most bizarre antagonists that I've ever read about, but that just made them so much more addicting. Everything about them, like their hive-like mind, their prissy attitudes, the fact that they're so naive, like everything about them. One is very creepy, and two, reflects honestly what it's like to have fake friends. If you've ever had fake friends, and I'm sure all of us have had at least one in our lives, we all know what it's like to have a fake friend. Ava, Samantha's friend at the start of the book, is a bad bitch. She doesn't care what anybody says. She doesn't care what anybody thinks. She's an art school dropout because she didn't want her soul to be crushed. She's just a girl there to vibe and flip off the rest of the world. Obviously, there's the two professors that are, you know, there for little bits of the book, but the two male characters who really have a spotlight are Jonah and then this other male character. Jonah's precious, all right? We love Jonah. I adored Jonah, all right? He's just there for a good time. He wants to make sure that Samantha's okay. He's just a sweet boy that needs to be protected at all costs. Then the other dude. I don't know how to describe him without completely exposing myself. He may or may not be dangerous. He has a tattoo on his neck, and he is described as having a wolfish grin. At one point, he's eating dinner and he has a knife in his hand and he licks the knife. He had me hooked, okay? I don't think you're supposed to find guys that lick knives hot, but it is what it is. There it is, right there. I'm accepting. I acknowledge my faults, but am I sorry for them? Not at all. So ultimately, I gave Bunny 5 stars. I enjoyed it so much. I highly recommend it. For anybody that likes trippy books or cult books or dark academia books, read Bunny, all right? Just bear with it. It's supposed to trip you out, okay? You're not supposed to really have a grasp on what's going on. This is a new favorite book of mine of all time. It was my introduction into dark academia. This is the first dark academia book that I've read, and it's an even bigger introduction into magical realism. And if you just buckle up and you're ready to just sit back and let the roller coaster take you wherever it goes, I think you'll really enjoy it. So you guys, that was Bunny. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I hope you guys take away from this video the urge to read Bunny, because it's just so much fun. It really is just fun. It kept me so engrossed, and I hope it keeps you guys engrossed too that really want to read it. I will have links down below for causes that you can educate yourself on, and my Goodreads will be down below if you guys want to read the review. Lastly, I will have another link to the ambiance that I listened to while reading Bunny, if that helps you, like it does me. So, you guys, I hope you guys are staying safe, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Bye!